Hi guys, I'm Johnny from CineD, and today on my table is the new Sigma FPL. The camera has been just announced and I was lucky enough to run with it a little bit, shoot a mini documentary and see how it works for me. So first, let's watch the short film and then come back and talk a little bit about the new camera.
So my name is Julian Yo Hedenborg, half Swedish, half Japanese. I was born and grown up in Salzburg as a part of a musical family. My parents both met in Salzburg while studying music. My father is a violinist and my mother is a pianist. It was very normal for us to speak two languages, German and Japanese, and also to learn a string instrument and the piano. And I remember it was a very intense time, studying, practicing and so on. Our parents were very intense about that. Orange started to become a very special color to me. It's just, I had a few accessories in orange that I really liked and I had every day. It's just, warm, bright, flashy a little bit, is a part of my everyday life. So I think it was almost when I was 15, 16 years old when the relationship between my parents and me was really not going well at that time. I just needed to rebel and to break free from any shackles, so to say, that I felt back then that was limiting me. And I took a pretty long break of 5 years where I didn't play the piano at all. I just broke off with the classical music, never really intending to go back. It was till 21, 5 years of break, from 16 to 21, that I met my best friend. I didn't know that he would be my best friend, and he also introduced me to the professor. And my professor, who taught me everything since then, and my best friend, without them I wouldn't play the piano today, I'm sure. So I started to find my own sound, to find my own voice, just a new dialect, so to say, a little bit my dialect, with all the different languages that I've heard, from Rachmaninoff, from Chopin, but also from metal or like ballads that I've listened to with weeping guitars. Aside from music, there were always cars in my life. I have a very charming car, I think, a Skoda Fabia. When I'm driving the car, I have to say I rarely listen to classical music. I do enjoy a lot of bass in the car, dubstep or trap. Both when playing the piano or playing when I'm in the car, this combination of movement and to feel, the acceleration, the brakes, to feel this, that you are right now moving, you are not standing still. Also with the piano, it's not each individual notes that you play. It's just, it's a very different experience, but somehow just lies in my nature and I cannot miss it. Every time I'm behind the wheels, just puts a smile on my face every day. I'm trying to develop the courage to release my music into the world, to be content with who I am and to share that. I hope to grow bigger every day. It's not a competition with other people, other musicians. It's always a little bit of a competition to you, no? If you can go the next step every day, somehow, to become a little bit better, truer, more authentic, more genuine version of you, and to be really free. The answer is not where to go with it, I think. It's just to stay true to you, to go your way. Just keep playing, keep making music, because that's what makes us musicians, because we need it. It's like air to us. We need to breathe. It's not a profession for us. It's who we are.
Guys, thank you very much for watching this short documentary, and I also want to thank Julian. I think we had really great fun working together throughout the day. Also, a special thank you to Luciano. He's our in-house editor, and as always, I really think he did a great job assembling it all together. So this is the new Sigma FPL, and as you can see from the outside, it looks exactly the same as the previous model, the normal Sigma FP. And that means that all the current accessories for the original Sigma FP camera will fit the new Sigma FPL. Let me start by briefly run through of what is actually new. So to start with, there's a new 61 megapixel sensor. There's a new hybrid autofocus system. We will talk about this in a second. There's a new USB power supply, meaning you can run and charge the camera with an external battery. There are 11 new functions and 12 improvements. I will touch some of those, but for the complete list, please head to our article. And last but not least, there is a new accessory, and this is a dedicated electronic viewfinder. And now I would like to talk about some of the new functions, those that captured my attention in no particular order. Yeah. So I want to start with the QR code scanning, and that means that now you'll be able to share settings between cameras, and it doesn't matter if this the FPL or the FP, the original FP, in between the cameras just by scanning a code. That also means that if Sigma in the future will release some, let's call it recommended settings, you'll be able just to scan the QR code and those settings will be implemented within the camera. Genius. Another new function is the ability to use crop zoom. If you're filming on UHD resolution, you can crop in within the sensor up to 2.5, and if you are filming in full HD, you can do this up to 5 times. And now I would like to talk about something which is a little bit complicated, and this is about the image pipeline. And this is important because also for me it was not 100% clear. I actually had to talk to Wakamatsu-san. He is the product planner from Sigma. He is in charge on the Sigma FP and the Sigma FPL. I wanted to understand how the dynamic range, the autofocus, and the resolution are all connected. And this is what I managed to gather. Let me try to explain in a simple way. In order to get or to achieve the best dynamic range of the camera, or the resolution, or the autofocus performance, you will have to set a certain crop or use a certain crop factor. That also means that it's not necessarily that there is one perfect settings for the camera that will give you the best resolution, the best dynamic range, and the best autofocus performance. When I take autofocus, for example, it can be that on a certain crop, the contrast-based autofocus will function. And if I go to another crop, then the phase detection autofocus will function. So this is just a beginning, yeah, and I hope that Sigma will come up with a certain other documentation, or even let's call it a best scenario setting, something that you know that you're in a certain crop, you can get the best dynamic range, the best autofocus performance and resolution from the camera. So in terms of usability, I did feel that the camera is now more mature. The image is lovely, and yeah, it's a more refined product than the first generation. I think it's also worth saying that if before Sigma really emphasized the video side of the camera, now they are approaching more the wider audience with the 61 million pixels sensor. Obviously, that will appeal to many photographers. The other thing is, of course, this Sigma FPL, like the previous model, can also serve as a webcam. So you have this kind of triangle. It's a camera to shoot video, to shoot high-resolution photos, and it can serve as a webcam. From the video perspective, I think it's worth mentioning with a 61 million pixel sensor, the low light capabilities of the camera are a bit worse than the previous model. The previous model had like 24 million pixels. And the autofocus, again, depends on which crop factor you are. that will impact the performance, the autofocus performance. But I think this is also something which it's a good beginning, yeah? And Sigma, of course, will do their best to enhance the autofocus function. And now I would like to talk a little bit about the new EVF, because for me, as someone who likes to run and gun, this is really an essential part. And first of all, it's very nice to see that the camera now, I mean, the EVF will attach directly to the camera. No cables are needed. By the way, I tried to attach it to other cameras and it didn't really work here. But it's good to know it's working perfectly on the Sigma FPL camera, and of course it's going to work on the previous model too. Let me start with what I really like first. I think the resolution is quite good. I had no issues whatsoever to focus. There is also here a headphone jack, because I don't know if you remember, but the original model and also this one doesn't have a headphone jack on the body itself, on the camera body itself. So now the headphone jack is actually on the EVF. Great for monitoring audio. The other thing is you are able to output through the USB-C and record directly to an SSD. This is in case you are recording cinema DNG files. But of course, there are also some obstacles. And actually two of them I have to highlight. One is that when you attach the EVF to the camera, you're actually using the only HDMI connector there is. And there is no HDMI output here. So if you are working with the EVF, you cannot anymore record externally to a recorder, monitor recorder. So forget ProRes RAW or Blackmagic RAW. That's one thing. The other thing is, where is this? One of the accessories that Sigma has for their camera is this kind of attachment, I'll show it here, with cold show. The thing is, this is also being connected to the left-hand side. So when you are with, when you're using the EVF, this accessory cannot be connected anymore. And why do we need it? Well, in case you're using an external microphone. The other thing is, and this is something small, it depends how you work, sorry. But if you see, this is rather easy to flip. And it happened to me when I was already working with the EVF and I felt how this is kind of drifting away. I hope this can be somehow secure better. And one more thing to note, there is no automatic like switching between the LCD and the EVF. So every time you're using one of those, you'll have to click here and change it manually. The EVF will be sold for $699 and the camera will go for $2,500 US. So if I have to conclude, I would say that this is very much of an evolution and not a revolution. But nevertheless, I think everybody can find something in this product. You know, if you're a director and you have this kind of director viewfinder, this is from the previous model. It's working very, very well when you are location scouting. If you need an advanced webcam or a very good photo camera, or if you're a content creator and you're looking for a tool to shoot your videos, this camera certainly can do this. And I attached the grip right now and the viewfinder. And I also put the same lens that I used for that mini documentary. This is the 2870 2.8 from Sigma. So all in all, a very, very small package and a very capable one. Guys, thank you very much for watching. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you very soon. Thank you.